We appreciate Deuce and Mo with the Deuce and Mo podcast and NBC Sports California for being with us as well. We just gave a little note to these guys. I don't know where this conversation is going today. I really don't know what is left to say about the Sacramento Kings, though I did jot a few things down that I want to ask you guys about. And I'm because I've been called into the office 10 times this week. I missed Fran McCaffrey. So I got to get caught up on Fran McCaffrey here. But I want to start with, I told you I want to start with something different. And I wanted to talk to Morgan for a second, because I feel like there's a part of Morgan's life we really don't know much about. And every once in a while, KC will throw in, when I lived in Southern California. We all know how much Kenny loves Los Angeles.
Oh,
I do. Okay, Lake Show. Los Angeles. I don't love it as much as Sacramento, but I love it.
That's not how any of us feel, but it's fine. What we know very little about, though, is Morgan Reagan the LA years.
The LA years.
Do you really want to know?
You hear that laugh? That was like, there's something deep there.
Oh, it was all deep, dark, and bad.
When did you move to LA?
So I think I want to say it was like 2009 or 10. And when I moved because, well, one, I had just gotten shoulder surgery and was quitting JC ball like my second year because my coach was an ass and I couldn't do an overhead pass anymore. Like my recovery was just going slow, and she was just horrible to me at the time. And it was like, what? So then when I quit, I was like, you know what? I need to go start my TV journey. So I went to LA. Just like packed up and went, didn't know who I was going to live with or what I was going to do. Met a ex-druggie in one of my TV hosting classes. And she was like, hey, I have a spot. You can come stay with me. And I was like, great. So little did I know that she was in a very toxic, bad relationship. So being in that apartment was, but it was in Van Nuys. And I also didn't know that Van Nuys had hookers at every corner. And I just thought, it's like Van Nuys, there's palm trees, didn't know. So then Van Nuys, once I was there, I was like, I have no money. And I started working like 4 different jobs. I worked at Coach in the Sherman Oaks Mall. I worked at BB in the Sherman Oaks Mall, where I was told I wasn't sexy enough, which I don't care. And then I also worked at Bubba Gump's on the Santa Monica Pier. And I forget. Oh, and then the 4th job came when I started working for this woman named Marquis Costello, Abbott and Costello's granddaughter.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. She was something. And started working for her as like her assistant because I wanted to get my foot in the door because they represented all the E-News people and stuff. And so like E-News people would come in and be like, I just got a divorce. Someone give me their baby so the paparazzi can shoot me with the baby. And then they have to put out this question. It was so LA.
Oh my God.
So LA and scary. And there's even a story that would be like a James Ham off the record kind of conversation that I could give later. But anyway, so when I worked all these jobs, trying to work in TV, went to auditions, and a lot of auditions, you'd get callbacks of just like, you want to go on a date? And it was just like so demeaning and gross and awful. And I kept losing money. So that was my LA experience.
I don't know if Damien expected all that.
Do that way too fast. I've got more questions.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Can we rewind back to the BB experience for a second?
Yeah.
Which is a sentence I never thought that I would utter, but here we are. So was it a male or a female who told you? Okay, because I'm trying to envision a man at BB saying that you're not sexy enough to work there. A woman, I can almost. Y'all be hating on each other. Like, let's call it what it like. Y'all women really hate on each other a lot.
I mean, I was told by men too. In LA is like different people. They just feel obligated to tell you to lose 15 pounds and find your brand, and you're not sexy enough, and all these terrible things that really don't help with a young woman's self-confidence when she's trying to get into the business. So BB was, and here's the other thing, you guys, about BB, I think it was commission based. So like you'd get your hourly pay, which was like $8 at the time. And then commission, it was just on each sale you'd make. Well, the other saleswomen, because it was only women that worked there, they would all steal my sale at the cash register.
Damn.
All of them. Yeah.
Damn, that's shit.
No. Oh, Deuce. Yeah.
Dump.
Oh, no.
We're getting loose, I guess. I'm sorry.
No.
I feel like we're telling these stories like we're on a podcast. My
No.
bad.
So that's why I didn't say anything bad. But yeah.
Like
So
Rick Ross over here. My bad.
they would all
Hey,
steal.
Jesse's ready. It's fine.
Oh, thank you, Jesse. But yeah, coach was a little better experience because the men and women there were kind. They were kind, except I was just standing in there selling not purses, handbags. They were called handbags, everyone. I wasn't even like into this stuff and was just trying my best.
Sherman Oaks Mall, popping though. Sherman Oaks Mall is popping.
Well, back then I would have to get walked out to my car every night.
Oh my God.
Like Kenny's version of popping, probably not the same as Morgan's. I'm just gonna guess, but especially what 21-year-old Morgan.
No, I wasn't 21 yet, so I was still in my and that was the other thing, because then when I worked at Bubba Gump's, everyone would take their money that they made all day, you guys, and go spend it on alcohol and party all night. And I remember thinking, like, how are any of these people ever going to catch up on their bills and all these things that they say they have no money for? Because that was the lifestyle.
Yeah, it's just what you do. Did you like anything about LA?
You know what? Whenever I do go back, there's this like sense of adrenaline or thrill or like something I do feel when I am there that I love. And I think it's the business side of things. It's if only I was in a different place when I was there and like knew how I needed to do things in TV or relationships or whatever to get to a certain place. I think that would have made my experience better. So whenever I am there, I do enjoy that aspect of it now because I'm only there for work now.
Yeah. It's a rat race down there.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely a rat race.
I don't feel like LA has like changed. You know, there's been like an evolution or a change in, you know, particularly because of the Me Too movement. A lot of that stuff, I think, in most walks of life have been, that's not how we do things.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true there. I think that stuff, like, I don't want to.
They put out the optics, though, Damien, right? They put it
right.
Yeah.
They want you to believe it's different, but I don't think that it is.
I couldn't speak on it because I don't really know. But what I do know when I was there, it was so cutthroat and awful. And I remember even people in coffee shops, whenever I'd come in, order a coffee or something, they'd be like, "You're not from here, are you? You're Northern California, huh?" And I was like, "Why were you saying that?" And they're like, "Oh, because you're nice." I'm like, no one, just not a lot of good people.
Yeah,
there are some. Sorry.
The crazy thing about it, like when I was down there and like looking back, what you said about if I was just in a different mind space and I knew how to handle things differently back then, I probably, I would have had a different experience. Maybe is I was down there the whole time. I never once thought about media. I didn't get involved in the media, none of that stuff. Everything I was doing, I was like heavy into the basketball community. So I was like doing the training, the coaching, making those kind of connections and things of that nature. But looking back, I didn't do anything media related.
But how was the basketball community there? Because that's something I would have much rather had been a part of.
Yeah, it's A1. That's what these guys got. This is where the whole thing came from with me saying I love LA, is because I said LA is absolutely the West Coast mecca of basketball. Like LA, they got it all. Because we were talking about the California Classic.
No,
the Bay Area.
The Kenny Loves LA thing came when you proclaimed.
Oh yeah, I came back from LA. Yeah, it was a good time.
Came from.
It's always a good time. I like LA. I love it going down there. But we were talking about the California Classic, and we were talking about how just desolate it looked in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And I was like, they don't love basketball. They love the Warriors. They don't love basketball in the Bay Area. And I said, if you had it in Sacramento, and then that's when I said, or Staples, it would go up. And they're like, nah, LA, they don't. I was like, nah, they love basketball in LA. Like it's a basketball place.
You think it would work at Staples though? Honestly, like, do you think it would have that same vibe?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
I
think
they
it'll
would
work
come
better
out
in
for
the Clippers
basketball.
spot.
What'd you say, Damon?
I think it'll work better in the Clippers' new spot.
Oh man, that place about to be crazy.
I think that's where the California Classic will be hot. Staples Center's in such a. I mean, I guess LA Live makes it better, but like if you're just out and around, okay, you don't want to be out and around by the Staples Center. Like if you're not at LA Live or the Staples Center, you should leave. There's not much in downtown Los Angeles for you to do. Like you should leave. That whole area where the Clippers one is going up is going to be dope.
Do you think people say that about like Sacramento, like Doco area? If they don't know much about Sacramento, they're like, hey, if you're not in that area, then you should just leave.
I don't know what they say about Sacramento.
Well, I mean, you had the Detroit reporter who kind of like clowned on right around the area.
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, I mean, if you are going to a Kings game and you're a reporter and you only venture out to Yard House, yeah, okay. Sure, but get into the city a little bit. Walk around. It's not like it's a very walkable city. Walk around a little bit. Get into it.
Well, I even took it a step further, Deuce, and I said, if you are an NBA reporter and you come to a Kings game on a Tuesday or Wednesday, yeah, like it's not going to be live. You know what I'm saying? But if you're in Doco on a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday night, like, no, you have a good time. Like you walk all through Doco, all the way down K Street. There's drinks, food all night long. But yeah, you come on a Monday or a Tuesday. This ain't a 7-day-a-week city. That's not what it is. You know what I mean? So I think some of that depends on people's perception of the city as well.
I was just driving downtown too, and it's Thursday, and it was cool because it was lunchtime on a Thursday, and there's bodies moving, there's bikers, there's lots of cars and kind of traffic, and it was enjoyable to have that buzz on a Thursday afternoon again.
Yeah. Facts.
Listening to D-Lo and Casey on KIFM West Sacramento, KRXQ HD2 Sacramento, ESPN 1320, driven by Lasher's Elk Grove Dodge, always live on the free Odyssey app. Oh, we've got tickets to see Wu-Tang and Nas right now. The Wu-Tang Clan and Nas are going to be live at the Toyota Amphitheater on October 2nd. We've got your tickets. Summers Live is here. Get 4 tickets for $80 all into select shows in the Sacramento area. Tickets are available now until August 9th at liveNation.com/Summers Live. Wu-Tang and Nas. Caller number 3 right now, 916-349-1320. What is your favorite Wu-Tang song?
Gravel Pit. Is that the one?
I love
Gravel
Pit.
Yeah.
I can't name one. I'm so bad at naming songs.
Am I kind of doing it, Kenny?
That's good.
I don't need to do this with it, but
no, that's solid right there. That's solid. We'll take it. Have you both wanted? Because you were talking about you weren't even 20 yet, pursuing your media career. Have you both wanted to be in media, like for as long as you can remember?
14 for me.
Yeah, I was obsessed. I was obsessed. I remember being like 10 years old, calling. I looked up Good Day Sacramento's phone number in like the phone book, and I'd call and be like, "Hey, can I talk to Marcus Allen?" And like the operator put me through. And there's one day like Marcus Allen like talked to me on the phone for a second. I was obsessed. I just want to be like, hey, on the news, sports, radio, whatever. Like I just wanted to do it.
I won a record from Marcus Allen at the opening of Blockbuster Video on like San Juan or something. It was Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock.
Wow.
It was an actual record, like a record.
I remember Marcus Allen being one of the guys, like they would send people in elementary school to, it wasn't even a career day or anything. It was just like, wow, this news guy is coming or this weather guy is coming. And I remember Marcus Allen was one of the ones that always stood out in my younger days. And that's not why I wanted to do TV or anything, but I just remember those moments of being like, oh, it's someone from around here, so I can do that too.
And I think a part of it for me was, the Kings ended up, 98, 99, started to be fun. And then I'm like, yeah, that'd be fun to be a part of it. You're obsessed with it. You want to consume everything. I'm on message boards. I'm listening to the radio. Like it's what you did. And I was like, I want to be in it.
But you guys, you know how he just said that's what you did? It's funny because I feel like as a young girl, I don't remember ever seeing things like that. Like all I remember is seeing newspapers of, what the Kings were doing or watching them on TV. But I never knew there was different outlets where people were talking about the King. I just remember turning on the radio on the way home from games, when we were in the car or whatever. But as like a little girl, I just never knew any other way of like getting into it.
Yeah, same thing. Like I wasn't a little girl, but I just would listen to the radio, right? And little did I know, the message boards and all this other stuff. Although I should have known because I would go on message boards for wrestling. It would only make sense that they'd have some for the Kings, but I was too busy watching the Monday Night Wars on my AOL dial-up message board.
Wow.
AOL. Not everyone can relate to the old AOL grind, man. The AOL message boards and we've already been over the god awful sound that you used to have to that you made when you connected to the internet. We've already
my one. This is such a stupid story. I've told Morgan this before. So with AOL back in the day, you'd have AOL Instant Messenger AIM. And back in the day, there used to be like chat rooms you would just go into, right? Remember like ASL? Did you guys ever do that? Chat rooms?
Yeah.
All right. So me and my buddy one time, we like hopped in a chat room. We started to talk to, I don't know, we assumed some woman.
Yeah.
And we tried to convince her that we were Gerald Wallace. and like, we'd be like, yeah, man, I got a game tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. We can't.
Awful.
Hey, it's what
you want to know why that's awful? Because I remember being, again, a young girl and me and my friend, and then like this, I remember we were probably like 11 years old. So, we're starting at that age being like, guys are hot. And there's this guy, I hope he was this guy, but he probably wasn't. He was probably some creepy old man sending some like young picture of some young boy with his shirt off. And I remember we were just like, oh my gosh, he's so hot. And we were always talking to him for weeks. But now like thinking about it as an adult, like that's awful.
We picked Gerald Wallace for a reason too. It was like he wasn't really playing with the Kings. We weren't going to say Chris Webber. We said Gerald Wallace to make it more believable.
Genius.
It didn't go on for that long.
Yeah, I got a game tomorrow.
Dude, my mom got catfished like in the last couple of years.
Nice.
No, this is
really
so stupid. I'm like, what are you doing? So my sister calls me and is like, hey, mom thinks she is talking to Bret Michaels on Twitter. Stupid rocker Bret Michaels. Yes. And so apparently Bret Michaels asked my mom to, hey, I'll fly you out, but I need you to send me $700.
Oh, no.
My mom's like, I don't have $700, but please let me send you like the money I don't have, which is like 150. And so she just sent some random person who she thought was Bret Michaels $150. I called her like, what are you doing?
Mama Deuce. No.
Yeah.
no. She thought Bret Michaels couldn't afford his flight.
Yeah, my mom's a lunatic. So
hey, be nice. She literally is in like a mental hospital now. So God, Deuce. Here comes
just for the record.
Deuce is here, everyone.
Just for the record, Morgan says be nice and then puts out there, hey, yeah, his mom is in a mental hospital.
Well,
just let's note that.
I'm Jesse just took the question right out of my. Is that a shoot?
I mean, seriously. Well, she was.
I just want to lay the
suffering from delirium. She's having some major issues where she is hallucinating. I mean, we can go
you can dive
deep here, but no, my mom had a really tough life growing up and serious mental things, and I don't know how she dealt with us growing up, but she's in a tough spot right now. And I'm good, by the way. I'm good.
Well, Dad's
out of prison. I don't talk to him, but he's out of prison. I try to have a relationship with him at the beginning. I think for me when he got out, I was excited. I was like, oh, I want to have a relationship. I want to have a dad. I remember seeing him, and it was just like there wasn't, hey, so what's new in your world? Like there's no like, hey, I'm sorry. It was just sitting on the couch watching TV as if like he wasn't gone for 13 years in a row. And at that moment, I'm like,
there's no social skills.
Yeah.
And obviously then you really want to dive deep into our prison systems and all of that. And it's like what they're not teaching, what they're not doing to develop people and, you know, get them ready for real life. Yeah, it's pretty awful.
Damn, I thought Olivia was off today.
I can get that though, because I remember one day I came home. I had started at KSFM, and I'm still living with my mom at the time. It's like right as I'm getting ready to leave, and I'm gonna go do this, and I come home, and my mom is a little like mopey and like sad, and I'm like, "Yo, what's wrong?" I found your dad. Word? I thought he was dead. Like I thought he died like 10 years ago. What are you talking about? No, he's still in LA. I found him. Oh, why? Oh, I just need that's my mom though. Like I just needed to. All right, dude, cool. Do you want to talk to him? For what? Like you talk to him. Look at you. Like, no, I don't want to talk to him. I'm good on that. I don't need the moment that Deuce had where you sit down next to each other and you've got nothing to say. And for you, what do you say, 13 years? Like, bro, at this point for me, it was probably like 17. Damn. I'm good. That's a hard relationship to try to just like start up at some point.
Hey, can I ask you a personal question since we're just on, live streaming and everything? Did you know your dad at all?
No.
Okay.
No, my dad left. Like I remember, I've given speeches on this before. Like when I had to do public speaking for the first time in college. Like I remember the day my dad left vividly. I was like 4 or 5. I was in the garage. I remember the house. I remember nothing about this house. But this scenario, I'm in the garage. The record player is in the garage. I'm listening to Thriller. And I hear like a thud. And I run in through the kitchen, around to the dining room, around the corner. And okay, Olivia's here. My dad is on top of my mom with a screwdriver to her throat. And my mom says, "Go outside. You're fine." And I'm like 4. I'm like, "Oh. All right." My mom said, "Go outside." So I go outside, and then seconds later, I hear the door slam, and I look out, and my dad's running down the street. It's the last time I ever saw him. I remember we got in the car, drove to my grandma's house. I remember slamming my finger in the car door and how excruciatingly painful that was. This all happened in the same day. Never saw him again. I had always thought he was dead because my mom, I swear I overheard my mom on the phone say he was dead. Like she was talking to someone saying, "Oh, I forgot his name. I think it's David. David died." Oh, and I remember not caring. Like, whatever. She never told me, but that's what I always thought she said until that day I walked in when I was 20 years old and she goes, "I found your dad." And I'm like, the morgue? Like, where did you find him? What are you talking about?
So he has never tried to reach out to you since then or anything?
I think he was told not to, because from what I understand in that same time frame, he reached out to my sister, who's actually, like, we don't look at it like this. She's actually my half sister.
Yeah.
But she reached out to him. And my sister was like, "Dude, what do you want? Like, no. And don't call Damien because he's not nearly as stable as I am. So don't call him." And she hangs up on him. And, I think that was after my interaction with my mom. So it had been relayed. Like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Kenny, do you have a dad in your life?
Let's keep going.
We're going all right.
This is
the record. Damien said, "Well, I don't know where this is going to go today. Did we think we were going to go in a circle with our family life?"
Really quick, so I don't have to feel bad because I'm not going last because this is all so foreign to me because I have a great relationship with my dad. So this just like breaks my heart. But please.
So my dad passed away in 2019. I actually believe he passed away from COVID. And it was before we knew what it was, right? December of 2019, he passed away. Growing up, not the best relationship with him. But it was weird. Like I'm pretty chill, right? You guys know me. I'm pretty chill, and he was never around. You know what I mean? He never. He was dealing with the streets and dealing with those demons and stuff like that. But I never held any ill will. I knew he loved me. Like I believed that. I knew he loved me. He just had his own things going on. So it was never any ill will. There'd be times like I'm with his family, like his sisters, my aunts, and everything. When he wasn't around, they always got me from when I was a little boy. They'd call my mom. They'd be like, "Cheryl, can we come get Kenny and he come hang out with us?" And there's a couple little cousins there. Like they always had me, and he would never be around for the whole weekend, but they always had me. So I'm really close with the family, and they, I would see him every now and then, but then he'd go do his own thing. So we didn't have a great or super close relationship. As I became an adult, he tried to do that, but it was the same thing that you talked about, Deuce, where it was just like we don't have any foundation. You know what I'm saying? Like you're a good man. I know you love me, but we don't have no memories. We don't have a whole lot to talk about. But I was just cool with it. But one of the turning points was when I was about to have my son. I saw then he kind of looked at that as I have an opportunity to watch somebody grow up. And he was like super excited and great grandfather, coming in when Reese was about to be born. He took the train down to LA. He stayed with us for like a week or so because around the due date, and Reese came a week late, so he didn't get to see him be born, but he was there. Like he was excited. He was waiting for that moment to see his grandson. He was so proud of his grandson. So that made me happy. Like we were never going to have like this relationship, father-son. It wasn't going to be that close bond, but he was looking forward to having a grandfather-grandson relationship. And, while he was here, he did. They were close. He had a lot of good moments with him, but yeah, he passed away 3 years. What are we, 2022? Almost 3 years ago now. So,
man, you have it's interesting how you even allowed him to be in. Because like for me, I'm like cut out, like done. And you were more accepting of like understanding what maybe he was going through during that time, and still allowed him to be around.
Yeah, I mean, for whatever reason, I always felt loved by him. Like I never didn't feel love, and he wasn't there. He wasn't there for the sports growing up, all that other stuff. He wasn't there. But I don't know. I don't know what was going on in my head or my heart. I never was like, oh, he don't love me. That's why he's not there. He had other things that he was dealing with in life that were stronger than something that I could imagine that I was going through. And that's all it was. And when he would come back around, it wouldn't be like this. We wouldn't, like you mentioned, we wouldn't have a whole lot to talk about, but I never treated him like, oh, now you're around or nothing like that. I was like, hey, what's up, Pops? How you doing? How's everything been? We'll hang out for a few hours or whatever. And then I'll see him when I see him again, whenever that was. So,
but that's the other thing too, since I know your situation a little bit, Deuce, is that like, did you and your dad's like morals and values align? Because like that's not, if you don't even have that in common, it's like how are you even supposed to like?
I think part of it too is like for me, he started sharing like this is around election time 2020, and then some of the stuff that was being shared on social media, and then like giving my grandma like papers to give me of garbage, and I'm just like, I can't do this. I made it this far without you. I don't need you, man. I'm good.
Yeah. And see, on the flip side, like my dad, he was a good man. Like he was a really good man. He was and this sounds weird, he's just like me, or I'm just like him. Like he was really chill, really cool. Like you set him in front of a TV with a game, and for him, I don't really drink beer, but get him a beer, he good for the next 12 to 15. He just chill, and anybody that comes around him, I never really heard him say a bad word about anybody. He had a good rapport and relationship with people that he came across. Like he was a good man, very kind man, and maybe that helped too. But he just had a lot going on, and it's like the demons that a lot of people deal with, and
for sure.
And he took a long time for him to even be able to overcome a lot of that stuff.
I was the opposite.
That's
I
what,
knew
okay.
I knew my dad had problems. And so when I think like every
We're
time
here.
I was growing
We're
up,
here. Is Damien frozen? I think he is.
What?
oh,
Who
did I?
is?
Damien's frozen.
He's not
He's
frozen
not
on my
frozen
end.
on ours.
Oh, he's not frozen. I
Oh,
can't
You got
hear
that.
him.
You got that AOL.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be you.
I can't hear him at all. There he goes. Now he's
No,
yeah, now he's back. That was me. I'm sure.
I was the exact opposite. Like he had so many bad tendencies that
Mhm.
when I was growing up and would get angry, I'd think of that moment.
Mm.
I was like, I can never be that. I can never be that.
Oof.
Because I used to have like my temper would be bad, man. Like even in like later years, like even in a professional environment, if you know what we used to deal with, like I would be angry, visibly like and verbally angry. But in the back of my head, I would always know I can't be that angry.
Mm.
Was your, if I may ask more personal questions, was your mom in your life? What?
I said we're pretty much past that.
Yeah. We're past it. now,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So your mom was in your life throughout your life?
Yeah, I was raised by my mom, which always confuses people because my dad is black. He left. My mom's best friend was black, so I still, even though my dad was gone, and I've never ever been around his family, I still grew up around black people, and that's why I've kind of like always gravitated towards that part of me.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I know one night, what was it called? One Night in Miami. When One Night in Miami came out on, I don't remember if it was HBO Max or what it was, but it's that movie with it tells the story about Sam Cooke and Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X, and I'm leaving one person out, but I remember the scene. It was
Sam Cooke, wasn't it?
I said Sam Cooke, but I feel like it was
it was it was a football player. Was it Jim Brown?
Thank you. It was Jim Brown. I remember, I think it was Sam Cooke talking to Malcolm X, and it's like, I always wonder with you light skinned dudes, like, are you trying to impress the black people or are you trying to impress the white people? And I remember that line hit me like, I don't know, Sam.
Damn.
That's what it is.
Damn.
Yeah. Wow.
You guys, hey, I appreciate you guys opening up with me.
How about
Oh my
them Kings, huh?
Yes.
God. I mean, like, what? Like the Kings, you guys. That's like, see, this is how you have to look at the Kings now. It's just that's just a fun game. And when we allow them to mentally take us to a whole different place, we can't, because, well, you guys have overcome, all three of you have overcome so many obstacles throughout your life, no matter where they are on the spectrum or whatever. And you have overcome them in so many great ways. That's why when a basketball team throws some stuff at you, don't let it get you. Don't let it get you so bad, right?
No, but I need the basketball team to make me forget about everything else.
Okay.
Right. Also make us forget that the world is spinning around faster, and who knows what that means.
Oh man.
Well, I tried, guys. I tried. My God.
No, the funny thing, no, look. So we were talking about this. And shout out to my people. You know what I'm saying? My brothers and sisters. This is what they do. So the study comes out, it's been floating around like the world is spinning around faster. And we experienced the shortest day ever the other day. And shout out to my brothers and sisters in the comments talking about, I knew it was shorter. I knew something was going on. Fam, stop. It was like a half millisecond there. What do you mean? You
knew it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Just felt that much shorter.
That's hilarious.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Morgan's
Crazy.
mom only writes about traumatizing stuff. So that's
Dude, well, yeah, she's definitely killing off all of her awful demons in her thrillers, which I love. It's like she said it before. Yeah, no, it's her therapy, she has said before, because like she has a dark past that like I don't need to speak of. Where bad people were in her life and just bad things. And it's cool seeing how my mom is just so inspirational to me because she's like the happiest person in the world and she's overcome some pretty dark things, but then she also killing everybody and all the bad people in her books has been that therapy. Yeah, all of her thrillers, everyone dies. It's wonderful and it's so good for her and it's very healthy for her.
Yeah.
It's such a great outlet to be able to write out all your frustrations that way. And yeah, it works. Like we all need outlets. For me, growing up, sports wasn't even my outlet growing up. Music was. Actually, truthfully, wrestling was probably first.
Dude.
But music was really, really close behind. And I think with wrestling, it was always just kind of that super, like I was never into like superheroes, but back then, like Hulk Hogan to me was a legitimate superhero. Like that's all of those wrestlers in that time frame where I think that's why I gravitated towards it so much, because it was just that like outlet. We were talking about this the other day with black sitcoms. I realized all my favorite black sitcoms involve wealth, like Blackish, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like it's like I didn't want to watch Good Times. Like I didn't want to watch shows about poor people. Like I know that. I don't want to watch that. I want to know. I want to know how the other side lives. Like that's I want to escape through television, not I can relate to that. Like no, I don't. I live it. I don't need to relate to that.
I feel like all three of you grew up on wrestling then.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely. But you know, the interesting thing about that is when like people talk about there's like a joke, like when something goes down and say LeBron James, I'm not saying he did anything, but like just people are like, oh, LeBron, what kind of message does this send to the kids or whatever the case may be? And we're like, oh, come on, man. Like y'all doing way too much or whatever. But I think about myself and probably you two as well. The male influence that I had in my life was Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Like I remember one time, real quick. My dad, I was a teenager and I didn't know his birthday. Like it wasn't one of those days that came around. And it's February 10th. After this happened, I never forgot it. But it was like the next day. And he called. He's like, man, that's messed up. Man, you didn't even call me for my birthday. Didn't wish me no birthday. I was like, I didn't even know it was your birthday. Like, what are you talking about? Like, relax. And he got mad at me. He's like, nah, I'm going to remember that. You don't do that to your dad or whatever. I was like, bro, I didn't even know it was your birthday. Sorry. Happy birthday or whatever the case may be. But I always knew February 17th. I always knew Michael Jordan's birthday.
Wow.
February 17th was Michael Jordan. You get older. Puffy. Like, IMK. Puffy was my dad, my male role model figure. So I say that to say it's always like we kind of roll our eyes and you're like, oh, like, what do the kids think? But that's real. Like there are people out there that don't have any positive male role models that they can see. And the first person they see is a LeBron James or is a Debo Samuel or whatever the case may be. And they are always watching, or an actor from a sitcom or anything like that.
You guys, sometimes it's not even like the main character or the star. It's Deuce, you talked about this before. It's like, it's the person, the athlete that you might meet at that first youth clinic that you ever go to, right? The first camp that you're nervous about going to, but your parents or whoever, a friend brings you along and they push you along, and that athlete that is there, you don't know where they stand in the NBA or the NFL, or maybe it's even baseball camp,
Right.
And you get to meet them and they instantly like become this type of hero figure for you because you saw that they're real.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I knew this was going to be different. I definitely knew. Like it's like I don't know what topic we could exhaust with the king, so let's just hang out with Deuce and Mo a little bit. Didn't expect this.
I know.
But definitely knew today would be a little bit different. I certainly enjoyed the
Can't wait
conversation.
to talk to Matt George.
Let's see what childhood trauma Matt George through.
I think Matt had daddy issues too.
Really?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
You guys, I don't need to sit here and say like I'm sorry for everyone that had those, family issues or anything, but I will never take you know, what I have with like my parents for granted, because it really is. There's a lot more people around you than you even know that Matt George, really?
You don't have to like it shapes
No.
who you are. Like that stuff. That's like every experience I've had from every experience we all have had, from job experience to love lost experience to parents. Like they shape who and what we are in this moment. And you've got to take advantage of that. You've got to take advantage of those, you know, teachable moments, if you will.
Well, I'm glad that you guys are all who you are, because I think you're all really great.
I mean, I think it's what Damien said earlier, though. It's just like at some point, you just look at the situation. You're, I don't want to be that. Like, I don't want to be my dad. I'm like, I don't want to live in this chaotic environment that I'm in. Like, I'm going to do everything I can not to do that.
Yeah. Facts.
Have fun with Matt.
Hey,
podcast.
We have a new one dropping Monday. Chima Moneki is we actually recorded it today, and talk about a journey.
Oh, a journey.
Kenny, you're gonna listen to this interview and want to give him a max deal. I'm just being honest.
That's on brand. That's on brand. I love it. Go.
He fired me up.
Deuce and Mo podcast. We appreciate you guys so much.